The starship Voyager 3 cut through the vast, star-strewn silence of the outer rim of the Andromeda Galaxy, its mission primarily one of mapping uncharted sectors. On the bridge, Captain Elena Marquez surveyed the panoramic view screens, her crew attentive at their stations, monitoring for anomalies. The routine was familiar, a dance of coordinates and sensor sweeps, until the calm was shattered by a sudden chirp from the navigation console. "Captain, we've detected an anomaly," reported Lieutenant Singh, his voice a mix of curiosity and concern. "It appears to be a vessel, but it's off our charts. No transponder signal." Elena leaned forward, her interest piqued. "On screen, maximum magnification." The view screen flickered and refocused, revealing the image of a spacecraft, its design unfamiliar and evidently alien. The vessel was adrift, the damage to its hull visible even from this distance, scorched metal, gaping holes, and intermittent flickers of what looked like emergency lighting. "Life signs?" Elena asked, her tone now sharp with urgency. Singh adjusted his readings, fingers flying over the console. "There are faint life signs, Captain. It's not completely abandoned." Elena made her decision in a heartbeat. "Prepare a boarding team. We're going in. I want a full medical team on standby. Whatever happened to that ship, there might be survivors needing immediate help." Minutes later, Elena led the rescue mission herself, donning her spacesuit with practiced ease. The team comprised her best engineers and medics, all heavily equipped for what might lie ahead. They boarded the shuttle, the atmosphere among the team a mixture of excitement and apprehension. As they approached the alien vessel, the extent of the catastrophe became even more apparent. The ship was not just adrift, it had been savaged by some colossal force, torn open like a tin can. The shuttle docked with the remaining airlock, and after a tense moment of silence, the hatch hissed open. Inside, the ship was in chaos. Debris floated in the zero-gravity environment, illuminated by the sporadic flashing of emergency lights. The air was stale, the temperature dropping, a clear sign the life support systems were failing. The team moved cautiously, their lights cutting through the darkness. In the heart of the wreckage, they found the survivors, an alien family huddled within what remained of a life support pod. Their appearances were strikingly humanoid but distinct in features. Fine silvery scales covered their skin, and their eyes were large and luminous in the dim light. The pod was crudely operational, obviously jury-rigged to maintain atmosphere and temperature against the vacuum of space. Elena approached slowly, holding out her hands in a universal gesture of peace. "We're here to help," she said gently, her words translated and broadcast in a soothing tone through the universal translator. The aliens were initially wary, but desperation won over. Through the translator, they introduced themselves as Alnur, Talia, and their child, Lix. Their gratitude was palpable, even through the mechanical voice of the translator, as they relayed their story of escaping their dying planet only to be attacked by unknown forces in this sector, leaving them stranded and fading. Back aboard the Voyager 3, Elena convened with her senior staff. "We have a responsibility here," she stated firmly. "We can't just leave them. No one else responded to their distress calls. We're their only hope." The decision was unanimous. The crew of the Voyager 3 would do whatever it took to ensure the survival of this alien family, unaware that this act of kindness would set them on a path of galactic proportions, challenging their values and testing their courage in ways they had never imagined. The journey ahead would be fraught with danger and moral dilemmas, but for Elena the course was clear. They would not turn their backs on those in need, not while she commanded the bridge. With the alien family safely aboard the Voyager 3, the next step was to ensure their immediate survival and well-being. The ship's medical bay turned into a hub of activity as the medical team, led by Dr. Suri Patel, worked diligently to assess the health of the new arrivals. The advanced biometric scanners hummed and whirred as they adapted to the unique physiology of the aliens, Alnur, Talia, and their child Lix. Dr. Patel, a seasoned expert in xenobiology, found herself fascinated and challenged by their biology. "They have a bioluminescent quality to their blood, and their respiratory system is incredibly efficient at filtering toxins," she explained to Captain Marquez, who watched the family with a protective eye. "They're resilient, but malnourished and stressed. It's a miracle they survived as long as they did in such harsh conditions. Meanwhile, in the ship's conference room, Elena convened a meeting with her senior officers and the communications team to devise a strategy for assisting the family further. The universal translator continued to play a vital role, enabling more detailed conversations with Alnur and Talia. Their story unfolded, a tale of desperation and survival that resonated with every member of the crew. Our planet, Serenia, was destroyed by a cataclysmic volcanic eruption, Alnur explained, his voice a low rumble translated into English. We sent distress signals across the galaxy hoping for rescue, but none came until you found us. Talia added, her eyes bright with unshed tears. We fled with our son, hoping to find sanctuary, but we were attacked by raiders. They thought we carried valuables. All they left us was our lives. The revelation stirred a mix of empathy and anger amongst the crew. Elena felt a resolve settling in her bones. She looked around at her team, their faces a mix of determination and concern. We're going to help them find a new home, she declared firmly. It's not just about survival now, it's about humanity, our humanity. The decision to help the alien family carried implications beyond mere humanitarian aid. It required navigating uncharted legal and diplomatic territories. The communications officer, Lieutenant Ramos, was tasked with reaching out to the Galactic Council, a conglomerate of civilized spacefaring entities, to plead the family's case and seek assistance or asylum. Ramos worked tirelessly, sending encrypted messages across space, detailing the plight of the Serenian family and requesting urgent humanitarian aid. Each message was met with bureaucratic responses, delays, and, more often, silence. The frustration grew, but so did the crew's determination not to rely solely on distant bureaucrats. Captain Marquez decided to take a more active approach. Prepare the ship for a journey to the Galactic Council's headquarters, she ordered. We'll plead their case in person. It's harder to ignore someone when they're standing right in front of you. As the Voyager 3 set a course for the Galactic Council, the crew prepared for the challenges ahead. Elena spent hours strategizing with her advisors, anticipating the legal objections and the indifference they might face. Meanwhile, other members of the crew took turns engaging with the alien family, learning more about their culture, their needs, and how best to advocate for them. The journey to the Galactic Council was not just a physical one, but a moral journey, testing the resolve and principles of the humans aboard the Voyager 3. They knew the odds were stacked against them, but for Elena and her crew, the fight for the Serenian family's future had become their own battle, a testament to their belief in doing what was right, regardless of the cost. The Voyager 3 raced through the cosmos, its engines humming a steady beat as it cut across the galaxy towards the headquarters of the Galactic Council. The mood aboard the ship was a mix of anticipation and resolve. Captain Elena Marquez had briefed her crew on the potential risks and diplomatic hurdles they might face upon arrival, but there was a palpable sense of commitment in the air. Everyone was invested in the mission to help the alien family find a new home. As the ship approached the outer sectors of the Galactic Council's controlled space, the communications officer, Lieutenant Ramos, received a series of automated messages directing them to follow protocol upon entry. The bureaucracy of the Council was notorious, but necessary. A conglomerate of hundreds of species and thousands of inhabited planets required stringent measures to maintain order. Meanwhile, Elena had initiated a series of tactical simulations with her senior staff, preparing for every conceivable scenario, from outright rejection by the Council to the bureaucratic red tape that could delay their plea indefinitely. The crew practiced their roles, refining their arguments, and reinforcing their resolve to not just present the Serenians' case, but to champion it. However, as the Voyager 3 entered the heavily monitored space lanes leading to the Galactic Council's massive space station, a distress signal abruptly pierced the calm, urgent, and impossible to ignore. The signal was from a nearby sector, an area known for its treacherous asteroid fields. Captain, there's a distress call coming in. It's a civilian transporter and they're under attack by space pirates, reported Lieutenant Singh, his voice tense. Elena faced a critical decision. Ignoring the distress call could mean the loss of innocent lives, but diverting from their path could delay their mission, potentially jeopardizing the Serenians' chance at a new life. Her decision, however, didn't take long. "Plot a course to the distress signal. We can't ignore this. Prepare all teams for a potential rescue operation," she commanded, her voice firm. The detour brought the Voyager 3 into the hazardous asteroid field. The bridge crew navigated the ship with precision, dodging the massive, spinning rocks that threatened to turn their rescue mission into a disaster. Elena stood by the helm, her gaze fixed on the view screen, guiding her pilot through the perilous terrain. As they reached the civilian transporter, the scene was chaotic. Two pirate ships were harassing the beleaguered transporter, their weapons causing critical damage. The Voyager 3 wasted no time. With a deft maneuver, it positioned itself between the pirates and their target, its shields up and weapons ready. "Open a channel to the pirate ships," Elena ordered. Her voice echoed through the communications system. "This is Captain Elena Marquez of the Voyager 3. Stand down and disengage immediately, or we will open fire." The pirates, realizing they were now outmatched, hesitated. After a tense standoff, they withdrew, disappearing into the asteroid field. The Voyager 3 quickly moved to stabilize the damaged transporter, sending over engineering teams to help with repairs and medical teams to treat the injured. The rescue, though successful, had cost them precious time. As they resumed their journey to the Council, Elena couldn't help but reflect on the day's events. Each decision, each action had ripple effects, influencing not just their immediate circumstances, but the broader mission at hand. Finally arriving at the Galactic Council's station, the Voyager 3 was greeted not just as another ship seeking audience, but as a vessel that had proven its commitment to the principles the Council purportedly upheld. As they docked, Elena prepared her team for what would be their most important challenge yet. With the successful rescue fresh in their minds, the crew was more determined than ever to advocate for the Serenians, their spirits bolstered by the tangible difference they'd just made in the lives of others. This unexpected detour, while risky, had reinforced the human crew's reputation as not only capable and resourceful, but profoundly compassionate, setting the stage for the diplomatic efforts that lay ahead. Upon arrival at the Galactic Council's headquarters, a sprawling space station that orbited a serene blue giant star, Captain Elena Marquez and her crew prepared for a diplomatic mission unlike any they had undertaken before. The station was a hub of activity, with representatives from hundreds of different civilizations all converging in a display of interstellar bureaucracy and cooperation. The Voyager 3's recent act of heroism in rescuing the civilian transporter had preceded them, giving Elena and her crew a small but potentially influential edge. The station's officials, typically unyielding to unscheduled pleas, granted them an audience more promptly than expected, intrigued by the human crew's demonstration of solidarity and bravery. Elena led her delegation through the corridors of the station, their footsteps echoing in the metal-laden halls adorned with emblems and flags representing myriad galaxies, species, and governments. They were ushered into a large circular chamber where the council convened. The room buzzed with the low hum of a dozen languages, translators working overtime. When the time came to present their case, Elena stepped forward, Alnur and Talia by her side. The chamber quieted, hundreds of eyes focusing on the small group at the podium. "Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed beings," Elena began, her voice steady and clear. "We stand before you not just as representatives of the human race, but as advocates for a family who represents the last survivors of the planet Serenia." She paused, allowing the weight of her words to settle over the assembly. Alnur then spoke, his voice translated into the myriad languages of the council members. "We ask for asylum and aid in finding a new home. Our planet was destroyed, not by our own doing, but by a natural catastrophe. We reached out into the void, hoping for compassion or aid, and only the humans responded." Talia added, her voice a soft contrast to her husband's deeper tones. "Our son Lix has never known a home planet. We dream of giving him a future, a place where he can grow, learn, and contribute to the galaxy as a whole." Their heartfelt pleas were met with a mixture of reactions. Some council members whispered among themselves, visibly moved. Others appeared indifferent, their expressions unreadable. The debate that followed was intense and lengthy. Representatives from various sectors raised questions about precedent, resource allocation, and the potential for setting a dangerous standard by aiding non-member species on such a personal level. As the council deliberated, Elena conferred quietly with her team, her gaze occasionally meeting those of other delegates who seemed sympathetic to their cause. She networked with these allies during breaks, gathering support and assurances, her diplomatic skills tested at every turn. Finally, after what seemed like hours of discussion and negotiation, the council reached a decision. The verdict, however, was not as favorable as Elena had hoped. The council agreed to recognize the plight of the Serenian family, but declined to offer direct aid, citing policies and the potential strain on resources. Disappointed but not defeated, Elena thanked the council for their consideration. As they left the chamber, her mind raced with alternate plans. The bureaucratic indifference of the council had closed one door, but her resolve to help the Serenian family opened another. Back aboard the Voyager 3, Elena convened her crew. The council won't help, but that doesn't mean we're out of options. We're going to find a planet for Alnur, Talia, and Lix ourselves. We'll start by searching uninhabited worlds within safe sectors. We've got the technology and the will. We can do this on our own. The crew's response was unanimous, a chorus of agreement and renewed commitment. They had come too far and seen too much to step back now. Their mission had evolved from one of exploration to one of settlement, a testament to their humanity and their unwillingness to turn away from those in need. As the Voyager 3 set a new course, searching for an uninhabited world that could become a new Serenia, Elena felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Yet, she was buoyed by the support and determination of her crew, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in their quest to do what the galaxy's bureaucracy would not, provide a new home for a family who had lost everything. As the Voyager 3 journeyed through uncharted sectors, Captain Elena Marquez and her crew delved into the vast databases of the ship, searching for any hint of a suitable planet for Alnur, Talia, and Lix. The task was daunting, requiring meticulous analysis of astronomical data and environmental simulations. The stakes were high, and the team was aware that each passing day mattered deeply to the Serenian family, who had endured so much uncertainty. Finally, their relentless search bore fruit. Lieutenant Singh, the ship's astrophysicist, presented his findings to Elena with cautious optimism. "Captain, I believe we've found a candidate. The planet, designated PX 735, appears to be in the Goldilocks zone of its star system. It's uninhabited, with a stable climate, abundant water, and a breathable atmosphere." Elena reviewed the data, her experience telling her not to get her hopes up too quickly. "What about the native flora and fauna? Any potential hazards we should be aware of?" Singh nodded. "We've conducted remote biosurveys. The ecosystem is rich but doesn't show signs of predatory species that could pose a significant threat. However, it's under the jurisdiction of the Interstellar Resource Consortium. They have planned a mining operation there within the next few solar cycles." Elena's heart sank. The consortium was a powerful entity, known for its extensive mining operations that often disregarded the environmental or cultural significance of the planets they exploited. She knew that negotiating with them would be challenging, but it was a challenge she was prepared to accept for the sake of the Serenian family. Gathering her diplomatic team, Elena devised a plan to approach the consortium. She reached out, requesting a meeting with their executives, emphasizing the humanitarian nature of their request. The consortium, wary of bad publicity and interested in the good press that could come from aiding a humanitarian mission, agreed to a meeting. The negotiation took place aboard the Voyager 3 in the neutral environment of its main conference room. The consortium's representatives arrived, their demeanor a mix of curiosity and condescension, as if they were humoring Elena by even listening to her proposal. Elena began, "Thank you for meeting with us. We're here on behalf of a family, the last survivors of their planet seeking a new home. PX 735 is ideal for their needs and offers a chance for you to partake in a truly noble cause." One of the executives, a sharp-featured woman named Maris, eyed Elena skeptically. Captain, while your story is touching, our plans for PX 735 are extensive. The mineral deposits there are unique and extremely valuable to us. What do you propose as compensation for us abandoning a lucrative operation? Elena was prepared for this. We are aware of the value of PX 735. However, we propose not just compensation, but partnership. Our engineers have developed new mining technologies that are more efficient and less invasive. We offer you exclusive rights to these technologies in exchange for the rights to PX 735. Maris raised an eyebrow. Interest peaked. The negotiations stretched for hours, with Elena and her team presenting detailed plans, environmental assessments, and testimonials from various scientific experts on the potential benefits of their new mining technology. Finally, the consortium agreed to a provisional deal. They would delay their operations on PX 735, allowing the Serenians to settle there temporarily. If the new mining technologies proved as effective as promised, they would consider permanently granting the planet to the Serenians. Elena and her crew were cautiously optimistic as they relayed the news to Al-Nur and Talia. The family was overwhelmed with gratitude, and though the future was still uncertain for the first time in a long while, it seemed hopeful. The Voyager III set a course for PX 735, known to its hopeful new inhabitants as New Haven. As the ship approached, Elena looked out at the planet, a beautiful, untouched world that might soon become a beacon of hope. It was a testament to human determination and empathy, and though the deal with the consortium was still tentative, Elena knew they had achieved something remarkable. She was ready to face whatever came next, standing firm in her commitment to ensure a future for the Serenians. As the Voyager 3 orbited the lush green planet now dubbed New Haven, preparations were underway to establish a temporary settlement for Al-Nur, Talia, and Lix. The crew worked tirelessly, deploying habitats and life support systems, ensuring that the planet's environment was perfectly suited for the Serenian family. Their efforts were met with joy and hope by the family, who were eager to begin their new life on a world that promised peace and stability. However, their newfound hope was soon overshadowed by an urgent communication from the Interstellar Resource Consortium. The message was clear and chilling. The delay agreement was under threat. The consortium's board was reconsidering, pressured by stakeholders driven by profit over the promised technological advancements and humanitarian efforts. A fleet of mining ships was dispatched to New Haven, with orders to commence operations immediately, regardless of the presence of the Serenian settlers. Captain Elena Marquez was swift to respond. She convened an emergency meeting with her senior staff, outlining the gravity of the situation. The consortium is planning to start mining operations right where we've set up the Serenian settlement. We need to stop them, or all our efforts will have been for nothing. The crew's morale was a mix of fury and determination. They had come too far to give up now. Lieutenant Singh suggested, "We could use the ship's systems to create a defensive perimeter, non-lethal force fields, electromagnetic pulses to disable their equipment temporarily, just enough to stall them until we can get further negotiations." Elena nodded, approving the plan. "Do it. Set up the defenses. I'll try to reason with them one more time." As the consortium's fleet approached, visible as glinting specks against the backdrop of New Haven's atmosphere, the Voyager 3's crew executed their plan. The ship maneuvered into a defensive position, deploying a network of drones to extend a protective barrier around the settlement area. The approaching mining ships were met with a firm but non-hostile warning. "This is Captain Elena Marquez of the Voyager 3. We have established a temporary settlement on this planet under a provisional agreement with the Interstellar Resource Consortium. We urge you to cease your approach and discuss this matter diplomatically." The mining fleet, however, was not deterred. They tested the barriers, probing for weaknesses, their commanders confident in their superior numbers and dismissive of the Voyager 3's warnings. But as they attempted to breach the perimeter, their systems began to malfunction, the electromagnetic pulses disrupting their navigation and operational capabilities. A tense standoff ensued. Elena used the time to communicate directly with Maris, the consortium executive they had negotiated with earlier. "Maris, we had an agreement. We're here defending not just a piece of land, but a promise of a new life for a family who has nowhere else to go." Maris, her voice strained, responded after a pause. "Captain, I'm under immense pressure here. The board sees only the immediate profits, not the long-term benefits of your technologies or the moral implications of our actions." Elena, understanding but firm, pressed on. "You know this is wrong, Maris. Help us make the board see reason. You have the power to change this. Think about the legacy of the consortium. It could be one of innovation and compassion, not just profit." The conversation was a turning point. Maris, moved by Elena's words and the evident determination of the Voyager 3 crew to protect the Serenians, agreed to advocate once more to the board, using the current standoff as a demonstration of the Voyager 3's capabilities and resolve. The mining fleet, temporarily disabled, awaited instructions, floating inert above New Haven. Back on the Voyager 3, the crew and the Serenians held their breath, hoping for a peaceful resolution that would allow them to continue the work they had started on this new world. Their future on New Haven hung in the balance, dependent on the outcome of a high-stakes negotiation millions of miles away. While the Voyager 3 maintained its defensive position above New Haven, the tension among the crew and the Serenian family was palpable. Everyone on board was aware of the precariousness of their situation, with the planet's future and that of its potential new inhabitants hinging on a corporate board's decision in some distant conference room. Captain Elena Marquez, ever vigilant, sought to leverage every available resource. Recognizing the potential impact of broader galactic awareness and support, she decided to make their plight public. Elena tasked her communications officer, Lieutenant Ramos, with broadcasting their story across various media channels and interstellar networks. The message outlined the Serenians' plight, the humanitarian efforts of the Voyager 3, and the looming threat posed by the consortium's greed. The broadcast resonated far and wide. Across the galaxy, various species and communities, some previously unmoved by distant humanitarian crises, found themselves touched by the stark moral dilemma presented by the situation on New Haven. Messages of support poured in, and small but vocal protests erupted against consortium operations on other planets, spotlighting their often exploitative practices. Meanwhile, back on the consortium's headquarters, Maris faced the board of directors, bolstered by the growing public outcry. Armed with live feeds of the protests and snippets from the Voyager 3's broadcast, she made a compelling case. "Look at the bigger picture," she urged the board. "We have a chance to lead by example, to show that our consortium values more than just profit. Our public image and future contracts could benefit enormously from this act of goodwill." Back on New Haven, the Voyager 3's crew deployed additional resources to make the Serenian settlement more resilient. Engineering teams worked to fortify the habitat structures and optimize the local energy grid for sustainability. They integrated advanced technologies that were initially intended as bargaining chips with the consortium, demonstrating their commitment to making New Haven a viable new home. Simultaneously, Elena organized a rendezvous with other ship captains who had responded to their call for support. A motley fleet of independent traders, miners, and even a few retired military vessels converged on New Haven, forming a makeshift but formidable alliance. Their presence served as a physical testament to the wide-reaching support for the Serenians' cause, creating a blockade that no single corporate fleet would dare challenge without serious repercussions. The display of interstellar solidarity reached a crescendo when representatives from these various groups held a joint press conference, streamed live across the galaxy. They highlighted the collaborative potential of diverse species working together for a common noble cause, further isolating the consortium. Faced with mounting public pressure, the risk of severe reputational damage, and the persuasive arguments of Maris, the consortium's board finally capitulated. They issued a statement declaring the cessation of their mining plans on New Haven, agreeing to formally recognize the planet as a sanctuary world for the Serenians. Furthermore, they committed to funding the initial development of the planet's infrastructure as part of a new corporate responsibility charter. The victory was sweet and celebrated widely across the galaxy. The Voyager 3 crew and their new allies watched from the surface of New Haven as the consortium's mining ships retreated, a tangible sign of their hard-won success. Alner, Talia, and Lix, along with the entire crew, gathered to witness the announcement, their relief and joy unbounded. Captain Marquez, standing among her crew and the Serenians on the soil of New Haven, felt a profound sense of accomplishment. "This is more than just a new home for Alnur, Talia, and Lix," she addressed the gathering, her voice thick with emotion. "This is a testament to what we can achieve when we stand together, united by our common humanity across the stars." As the sun set on New Haven, casting long shadows and bathing the landscape in a warm, golden light, the Serenians and the humans alike looked toward the future, hopeful and determined to build a thriving community from the ashes of despair, a beacon of what unity and compassion can accomplish in the vastness of space. With New Haven officially recognized as a sanctuary world, a wave of activity swept through the newly established settlement. The victory over the consortium not only preserved the planet for Alnur, Talia, and Lix, but also ignited a broader galactic interest in the principles of sanctuary and cooperation that the Voyager 3 crew had championed. The Voyager 3 itself had become a symbol of hope and a beacon of humanitarian efforts. Captain Elena Marquez saw the potential for New Haven not only as a home for the Serenians, but as a model for other worlds where displaced beings could thrive. She initiated a program to share their story and the lessons learned from their ordeal to help other species and communities facing similar challenges. Back on the planet, the Serenians, under the guidance of the human crew, began to adapt to their new environment. Alnur and Talia took part in designing their settlement, incorporating both human technology and Serenian cultural elements. Their son, Lix, showed a remarkable interest in the planet's ecosystem, displaying an innate ability to understand and even communicate with the local plant life, a trait that amazed and delighted the biologists on the team. This unique ability of Lix's became a cornerstone of the burgeoning community. The biologists, along with Lix, developed a symbiotic agricultural system that aligned with the planet's native flora, promoting a balance that enhanced both the growth of crops and the health of the natural ecosystem. This innovation sparked a new field of study, xenobotany, that attracted researchers and scientists from across the galaxy to New Haven. Meanwhile, Elena took the lead in organizing a conference on New Haven, inviting diplomats, scientists, and leaders from various planets to witness firsthand the success of their efforts and discuss the potential replication of this model elsewhere. The conference, titled Unity in Diversity, Lessons from New Haven, featured panels and workshops focused on sustainable settlement practices, interspecies cooperation, and crisis response. The conference culminated in a particularly powerful moment when Lix, using his unique communicative abilities, orchestrated a demonstration of his connection with the planet's life. This display not only highlighted the Serenians' special bond with their new home, but also underscored the importance of respecting and integrating with native ecosystems rather than dominating them. The impact of the conference was profound. Delegates left inspired and motivated, carrying with them the message of New Haven, a testament to what could be achieved when diverse groups worked together for a common good. Several planets expressed interest in forming a network of sanctuary worlds, and the Galactic Council, somewhat shamed by its earlier indifference, began to draft a resolution to support such initiatives. As the delegates departed and the Voyager 3 prepared to resume its explorations, Elena felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The events that had unfolded since their discovery of the Serenian family had reshaped her understanding of her mission in the cosmos. What had started as a simple act of rescue had transformed into a significant movement towards galactic unity and empathy. In the quiet moments of the conference's aftermath, Elena walked through the settlement of New Haven, observing the Serenians and the various visitors mingling, sharing stories and laughter. The planet, once just another celestial body in a vast galaxy, was now a vibrant community, a microcosm of potential futures where different species could coexist and support one another in harmony. As the sun dipped below the horizon of New Haven, casting a tranquil glow over the world they had helped save, Elena knew that their journey was far from over. The Voyager 3 would continue to roam the stars, but now with a renewed purpose, to spread the message of New Haven and to ensure that the ideals they had fought for would ignite change across the galaxy. As the last echoes of the Unity in Diversity conference faded, the settlement on New Haven took on a life of its own. The collaborative spirit that had been ignited among the diverse attendees continued to flourish, transforming the planet into a vibrant hub of innovation and cultural exchange. Captain Elena Marquez, satisfied with the groundwork laid down, knew it was time for the Voyager 3 to continue its journey through the stars. But first, there was one final task to complete, ensuring that New Haven had all the tools it needed to thrive independently. Alnur and Talia, now leaders of the New Haven community, collaborated closely with Elena and her crew to establish a governance structure that reflected both Serenian values and the best practices learned from their allies across the galaxy. They set up education systems to teach both the young Serenian, Lix, and other children who might join the community about the wide array of cultures and technologies that had come together on New Haven. Lix, with his unique connection to the planet's ecosystem, had grown into a role that resembled both a caretaker and an ambassador for his world. His abilities allowed him to detect and communicate the needs of the planet's flora and fauna, making him an integral part of New Haven's ecological management team. His skills were so novel and effective that they attracted researchers and environmentalists who were eager to learn from and work with him. The settlement had also become a refuge for other displaced beings across the galaxy, growing into a diverse colony that represented a miniature version of what the Galactic Council aspired to achieve on a broader scale. New Haven's success story was spreading, encouraging other communities to seek similar sanctuary statuses, promoting peace and cooperation. Before departing, Elena organized a farewell gathering in the heart of the settlement. The community gathered, a colorful mosaic of beings from different corners of the galaxy, each of whom had contributed to the planet's development. Alnur spoke first, his voice filled with emotion. When we were adrift in space, unsure of our fate, we could never have imagined finding a new family, a new home like this. Thanks to Captain Marquez and the brave crew of the Voyager 3, not only have we found a place to call home, but we have also seen our darkest hours give way to a bright future. Talia added, her voice steady and warm. This planet, this community, is a testament to what can be achieved when hearts and minds come together across the stars. New Haven is not just our home, but a beacon for all who seek peace and a new beginning. Elena took to the podium, looking out over the faces in the crowd, each one an ally, a friend. Leaving is bittersweet, she admitted, but the Voyager 3 must continue its mission to explore and connect the galaxy. We leave behind a part of ourselves here, in this soil, in this community. But we take with us the hope and the knowledge that the universe is filled with possibilities as long as we are willing to reach out and grasp them. As the sun set on New Haven, casting long shadows and bathing the settlement in golden light, the community joined in a ceremonial planting. Each individual planted a native tree or shrub, symbolizing their roots in New Haven and their commitment to its future. Lix, with a smile wide and bright, planted a particularly vibrant tree, its leaves shimmering slightly as if reflecting his joy. With the ceremony complete, Elena and her crew boarded the Voyager 3, their hearts heavy yet hopeful. As the ship pulled away from New Haven, Elena watched from the observation deck, the thriving colony growing smaller but never fading in spirit. The Voyager 3 resumed its journey through the cosmos, but its legacy on New Haven remained, a lasting beacon of hope, unity, and humanity in the vast expanse of space. As the stars stretched out before them, Elena knew their adventure was far from over. Each star, each planet held new stories, new challenges, and new opportunities for connection and understanding in the ever-unfolding saga of the human spirit reaching out into the universe.